Hello, hello. I'm John.
Hi, and I'm Tracy.
We're the Porters.
We're the Porters.
And you're at Unedited with the Porters. Cheers.
Cheers.
Having a lovely oak Chardonnay.
Yeah. Hope
Cheers.
you are having a. Well, hang on. Cheers.
Mm.
Hope you are well and safe and
Happy
and finding some beautiful, magical light in your days. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on, we know, and we're hoping to maybe bring just a tiny bit of lightness to your day.
We're certainly bringing a lot of light into our faces today, hence her sunglasses.
Yeah,
I might
sorry.
put these on from time to time.
I would do this, but it's like blinding. So sorry, otherwise we would absolutely not have our sunglasses on. We're going to have a sip of wine and do a fun Unedited. And John doesn't even know what I have in store.
Yeah, hopefully it involves partial nudity and gunpowder, maybe some alcohol.
You're hoping that too, right? Woo, exciting.
Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so I tend to pick the topics, as women do, and
grunt labor. That's all I am, all I'll ever be, all I've ever been. Grunt labor and yes, dear.
So I picked a topic. I'm doing it. John doesn't know this. I was like, I'm shaking things up a little bit today. So I picked a topic, and I made some cards. I kind of made it into like a game.
Okay,
Surprise,
let's start
surprise.
the show. Here's John Parda to tell you what you've won. A new car.
Okay, so our topic for today is building an empowering toolbox. And then I made these little cards.
You're gonna
you can pick a card.
You're gonna want to have some duct tape. You're definitely gonna want to have a claw hammer, and probably some razor blades. Just saying.
Probably.
Probably. Forgive me.
So I just thought this would be a good one, especially in the times we're in. It's really good to have an empowering toolbox, you know, God, for friendships, for relationships, for parenting, for coping, for just kind of everything in life. It's just so important. And we have been married for going on 30 years. We have 4 boys, if you don't know us, and we have been through a whole heck of a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
I feel like we're pretty good at,
We've been up and down and
coming up with some stuff. Okay, so how do you want to do this? Want me to just do like this and you want to pick one?
Oh, sure.
Or do you want to see?
No, I'll just pick
Okay,
one.
it's like a little
And I ask you this?
No, you just
Oh.
kind of jump in.
All right. Be flexible. You can't always win. Other ideas
You
can
do
be a
whatever you
starting
want related
point.
to it.
Uh,
You don't have to be like totally literal.
so I
Not
can
that I'm gonna tell
I can
you
touch
what
my
to do.
toes. I'm flexible. Now, so your empowering toolbox, emotional toolbox, or whatever it is, it's be
Yeah,
flexible.
we can.
Yeah, I think probably. I mean, that is a good way of saying it's the most important thing is just go with the flow. You know, be able to, or be prepared to have a different ending in mind. It's not having expectations, not holding expectations where you think they should be.
Gosh,
And-
nice job.
Well, I always get
This is gonna work
you
out
can't always
fine.
win because I'm married to her. So, other ideas can be a starting point. No, they can't. No.
Aren't you glad you joined us?
Yeah, so we've jumped right into the other emotional toolbox you're going to have to learn is one of the tools in there is going to be I'm sorry. Very important, right?
Oh, okay. You can pick one up for me now. See,
No,
you get to
pick-
be in charge.
You pick it out.
You get to be in charge. Okay. I don't know. I just thought this would be kind of
Okay,
like
go.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, this kind of goes along with that. Okay. This is actually a good one and one of my favorite things. And if you've followed us for any amount of time, you'll know that I'm a big believer in evolve. Be willing to adapt. Kind of goes along with what you were saying.
But it's in addition.
It's in addition, yeah. Be willing to change, be willing to evolve, be willing to, and I'm just going to say this because a lot of people say, I don't really embrace, they'll think to themselves, I'm not good at embracing change and that sort of thing. But I just feel like one of the reasons people don't want to embrace change is because they feel judged, because sometimes someone else will say, I can't believe you're doing that. And I think it's because other people feel like, gosh, I wish I could do that. Like when we moved, we kind of had a lot of,
well, we got
why would you do that? It's so great here. And it's
we
sort
got a
of
lot
like,
of it when we moved from Chicago to Wisconsin.
We did get a
Ton of it.
lot of it when we moved from Chicago to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Then we got a lot of it when we moved from Wisconsin to California. Then we did get a lot of it also when we moved from California to Nicaragua. We didn't get any of it when we moved from Nicaragua to California.
You got quite the opposite. Yeah. So I recommend you move to Nicaragua and then move back, because no one's going to criticize you for moving back.
Yes. That'll be a whole other story. Maybe a lot of you know that we did move to Nicaragua, but a lot of you probably don't know that we did that for 6 months.
Now they know.
Now you know.
Now you know the full story.
And I was just going to say, this is a good part of this, be willing to evolve, adapt, change, is, and be willing to, this is a big one for me, self-educate. Don't you think that's like a huge part of my...
By evolving, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think...
That's almost what evolving is you learn more and become more.
Yeah, like look inside and just grow and grow.
Look
Is this a
inside,
fun game
grow. This is a fun game. We're not going
I
to
wish we could hand one to you.
Right here.
It's backwards, isn't it? Aren't they
I
saying
don't
it
know.
backwards?
I can read backwards. Be a creative thinker. Learn how. Well, that just follows right in with the other one. What did you do? Plan this?
Well, I tried to write it. I was like, I want to approach this differently today. And so I just wrote down like all these thoughts that kind of flood.
So if you're not
came flooding
flexible and you don't evolve,
Yeah.
you're not going to learn how to be a creative thinker. It kind of goes all in line with that.
Well, I think that this is kind of, when I was doing these, I was actually thinking about our children, our boys. And I was like, what are the most important things to have in your toolbox, that you would tell your kids? And all of these.
With all boys in their early 20s, late teens, I'm not even going to answer that. You could figure it out on your own.
Oh, God.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll pick another card. Be okay with being alone. Okay.
Okay, I put that one in there because I think it's when you spend time alone. When I lived in France, I spent a lot of time alone, and I have to say it was one of the loneliest times in my life. Even though I loved it and learned so, but I learned so much about myself, and I feel like if you take the time when you're alone and you spend it, just kind of going inside of yourself a little bit, and I think it's healthy.
Well,
a lot of people are afraid to be alone.
And I'm gonna kind of flip this a little bit, because there's a lot of people that are alone.
Maybe too
and
alone
live
right
alone.
now. Yeah.
And if you live alone, then you want to go out and mix with people, change things up a little bit. But the point in being alone is you learn more about yourself and who you are and what makes you really tick when you're alone.
I just think it's healthy to
travel's a great way to do that.
It really is.
You did it, I did it.
Yeah. We really hope our kids will, when traveling is a thing again. Like travel, what is that?
When will that happen?
What is travel? What are you talking about?
All right.
Okay.
Learn how to deal with your stress and anxiety, mood changes, jumping jacks, cup of tea.
Oh, I put those down because
those
these
are
are things
ideas.
I
Okay,
do.
those are things you do.
I was like, I was thinking about how I, sometimes during the day, I have so many things on my plate that I just get a little, I have moments through my day. John and I talk about this when we have our cocktail while we're making dinner. And sometimes he's like, how's your day? And I'm like, oh, my day was good, blah, blah. But I'm like, oh, I had this anxious moment. And when I have that, because I'm like, I'm not getting to everything.
We turn to wine.
But I'm probably more normal than not that I have these moments of like, I've got to get to so many things and blah, blah, blah. And I love feeling really super productive. Like that's a very important thing to me in my days. And so I was like, okay, what do I do? What can I share that I do? And sometimes I literally will get up and I'll do like a bunch of jumping jacks to just get my blood moving and just sort of get my serotonin, yeah, that's the word. Or I'll go and make a fresh cup of tea, or I'll light a couple candles on my desk, or I'll go, okay, now is my time to go for my walk, that kind of thing, going out into nature. I was saying,
those are the things that you connected with feeling good.
They bring me,
so
like they
you
center me.
You have your own.
You have your own. But
I have my own.
Yeah, everyone. What are yours?
Exercise.
One of yours is like listening to comedy.
Oh yeah, I love listening to comedy.
That's a good one.
Exercise is a good one. I love, working out in the morning. But let's move on. We're on a timer. we tend to go over the limit of Instagram, so we're on a timer. When the timer goes off, we got like a minute or two.
We're really
So-
super chatty. We could have called this, instead of unedited, we could have called it the Ramblers.
Let it go. Refocus your energies. Accept. Find a lesson or a takeaway. Positive.
The thing is, just like,
Be
let stuff
positive.
go.
Spelled it wrong, but no grammar hammer here.
Spell it wrong?
Yeah. So let it go. Just let it go. You spell it wrong. Who cares?
Right,
Let it go.
accept.
Does it change anything?
Yeah, I put these down. I kind of did my heading, and again, I was thinking about our children when I was doing these. I'm like, okay, learn how to let things go. Learn how to refocus your energies. That kind of goes back to that last one a little bit, but I also like the idea of finding a takeaway, something positive. If if you're dealing with something that you're just annoyed with or whatever, just look at it and go, okay, what's my takeaway here? Because that's another way, to me,
It's
that's
your
a great
takeaway tool.
toolbox.
Yeah,
It's a
takeaway
great
tool.
It's a great thing to be
like a
able to
vacuum.
do.
Took
Have a
that away.
vacuum in your toolbox.
Absorb information and
Right,
knowledge and
yeah. You
care.
don't have to, use my little pile. You can just, if you want to just.
No. I trust myself. Trust yourself. That's the next one. It's okay to say no. Go with your gut. No. I'm gonna.
But a lot
Trust
of people
myself.
don't trust
No, I know they
themselves,
don't.
and I think that is another one.
Especially younger John never trusted himself.
I would say you're
I
right,
never
yeah.
trusted myself. That came with age.
Yeah. And
and-
you learned to. How do you think you learned to trust yourself? What's your feeling?
I think you make enough mistakes, you realize that what you were thinking when you made the mistake was probably the right thing, that you should have done something else. And your gut tells you eventually, you listen to it after banging your head against the wall 800 times. At 801st time, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go through this opening here. It's called a door. So, yeah, trust yourself.
Yeah, I think too when you trust yourself, it allows you to make decisions from kind of a more reasonable place. Oh my
Yeah.
God, is our timer already?
Well, it's our timer, yeah. But
We had to
I
set
think
a
we got
timer,
a couple
of
of
course,
minutes.
because we.
Yeah, I actually forgot to hit the button. So I said it while we were talking, and
You are kidding me.
yeah, I took a few minutes off. So we're probably okay for a couple more minutes. One more. Let's do one more.
Welcome to Unedited.
Okay, become more self-aware. We probably should have
there
been
you
more
go.
self-aware. Interrupter versus listener, me type. Ask how others
Okay,
are.
well, because
How are you?
I think I always think that it's important, especially for everyone. You have to be self-aware, and ask other. I'm always like, think Barbara Walters, right?
Yeah.
Ask other people questions.
Hmm?
People love to be asked questions.
Yeah, you learned that early in our relationship. Like you'd sit next to somebody at something, and they
I
wouldn't
just
ask you
love
a
asking
question.
people questions.
But they wouldn't ask you any questions, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to lead this conversation.
And it's okay.
And all of a sudden,
but-
they come out of their shell, and they were just,
Well-
wow, your wife was like the nicest person in the world. And like, it's just for asking questions, literally just for asking questions and being super nice.
Well, yeah. I mean, be curious about other people because it's fun and it's interesting, and you always learn something. Okay.
I think that's it.
Gosh.
We're at our timer. It's over. I think we're close. Anyway, we're close. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us in this
Thanks for
unedited
joining us.
and
Be
we
well.
wish
We're
you
sending
well.
you love and
cheers and love from the
From
countryside,
the countryside,
which is where we are.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time.
Mm.
Adieu. Adieu.
Adieu, adieu,
To you
to you,
and you and you.
adieu.
Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, 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 bum. Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum.